Hi everyone, I just wanted to say that if you've been striving to follow Christ, to follow His commandments, to follow His will in your life, to discern and obey that, but you've been sinning also, and you've been struggling with temptation and with sin and sort of your faults, know that God understands absolutely, and He's with you, and He's guiding you, and He is trying to help you if you would just open yourself up to Him even more. Because one of the symptoms or one of the effects of sin is closing ourselves off to God because we think we're unworthy, or that we can't or we shouldn't open ourselves up to Him because we're so dirty and we're so sinful. But that's actually false. That's exactly what the devil wants you to believe. What we need to do whenever we sin is ignore the initial feeling of guilt and shame that takes over our minds, because remember, God is a God of peace and not of anxiety or worry. So when we feel guilt or shame or any of the bad feelings any of the guilty feelings that come from committing sin, know that it will tug on your heart. No, it should tug on your heart, but it shouldn't cause you to be excessively worried. If it causes you to excessively worry, if it causes you to be anxious about your salvation or about you or anything else, or if it bothers you so much that it disrupts your inner peace, know that that is from the devil, because God is a God of peace. Know that despite your sin, these are faults, and being extra worried or being extra disappointed in yourself is not really a good thing. It can be a good thing if you push it towards really making amends and really amending your life. But a lot of the times, being extra guilty of our sin, worrying and overthinking about why did I do this again? Why did I commit this? It tends to be used by the devil to grow pride in us. Why? Because we should know that we are imperfect human beings, that we are bound to sin, that we have a fallen human nature. So no wonder we sin. It isn't a surprise. It shouldn't be a surprise. We should have such distrust of ourselves that we wonder, oh, I sinned. Of course I did. I'm so imperfect. That's why we need Christ. I am so weak. That's why we need Christ. That's why we need God. If you're overthinking about why you sinned, when did you specifically sin? What part did you get tempted? What part did you succumb? Right after you sinned? That tends to be an outcropping of pride, as said by, who said this? Lorenzo Scupoli, who wrote, what did I read this from? Spiritual Warfare. I think that was the book. Something like that. He said that if you do not avoid overthinking about your sin right after you sin, because it tends to be an outcropping of pride. And the devil will use that as ammo for you or for him to be able to tempt you into being more prideful in yourself, thinking, how dare I sin? I am this great person. I shouldn't sin. And it's like, you're not really that great. You are sinful. You are fallen human. You are a fallen human. It is natural. It is expected for you to sin. What isn't expected, what the devil hates, is that you bounce back and always go back to the mercy of God. Today's reading was about, or today's gospel was about Jesus Christ's brothers and sisters, or brothers, basically His brothers and sisters, not being His literal brothers and sisters, which He did not have any, but His brothers and sisters are those who obeyed His commandments, who knew and accepted His commandments and followed them. And know that just because you sin doesn't mean, it means you disobeyed His commandments. But know that right after your sin, you can immediately obey His commandments again by accepting His mercy, running to His mercy. It isn't that your sins are forgiven or absolved. You still have to go to confession. You still have to get absolution. But it means that you can immediately, from a step down, you can step back up. It's an immediate sort of returning to Him. You don't have to linger anymore in overthinking about your sin. Just go directly to Him. Know that you will be attacked by the devil extra hard, but know also that you shouldn't be so prideful in yourself and think that it's a surprise that you sinned. It's not a surprise at all. But know that God is there with you, God is there for you, and He will help you. But that is it for me today. I hope that you've enjoyed this. I hope you learned something. I hope this encouraged you. And if you think someone else needs this, please do share it with them. It really helps the algorithm. Send this to people who need it. Thank you so much for watching. God bless.